Week 6, obviously another set of new challenges, playing New Mexico, and they've got some real talented players, and obviously have a defense. Rocky Long is their defense coordinator, and great respect for him and the impact that he's had on college football with this scheme, which creates a lot of stress on everybody. But this is you can tell, a program that is talented and hungry, and will play extremely hard, and head coach is a heck of a football coach, and is going to do an unbelievable job there. So, Danny will have his guys ready to play at home, and we're expecting a tremendous challenge here from a very good New Mexico team, and we've got to take care of what we have to take care of this week in terms of our preparation. We came off of a good win, but that's ancient history, and now it's time to get ready to compete in this arena of college football this year more than ever, that every week you have to bring your A game. If you don't bring your A game, you're going to get beat. We're on the road, and so we need to go win a road game on the road and against a good football team. So, any questions?
You talked about the adjustments, your team getting better week to week. Some of it's player personnel stuff. So where are you seeing on your offensive line? Because now it's like Barry moved inside. You had a new starting 5. Is that group still developing, and are you happy with their progression?
Well, they played quite well last week. Vince Picozzi is having season-ending surgery this week. So we moved Barry inside. We're developing Mike Schiavone there to play guard. Mike is really doing quite well. Developing Ty Marks right now, too, is really coming on. Obviously, Chess Jackson has played a fair amount. Will continue to do that. I thought that Keith Williams played really well up front. So we're just, trying to put the 5 best that we have available each week out there and create depth. And I think we're doing that. So we'll see more of the same.
Are you happy with their progress?
Yeah.
In terms of what have you seen them doing better? Especially, they've held up well against Iowa, Toledo's front line this past week.
Well, I just think, Louis done a great job coaching them. They're, learning how to prepare like a Division I offensive line, learning how to understand the opponent, the defense, the structure of the defense, how they line up, how they play, what are their tips, what are their keys, and so that you can play faster and more explosive and more physical. You want to be an aggressive offensive line, not a reactive offensive line. And so we're learning how to do all those things. I think we're pretty good in protection right now. We've learned how to flip our protections and adjust our protections. And we're, obviously this week we'll have a great challenge from schematically, because they come at you with a lot of different fronts and pressures. And this will be a great opportunity to continue to grow and develop and have the ability to stay square, anticipate, and move the front. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to create penetration, and we're trying to knock them back. And I think when you can stop penetration and knock them back on any level, you can get your run game started. And that's what we have every intention on doing.
Obviously, missing some key guys like you have been isn't ideal, but big picture, having guys fill in like they have and play well like they have, is that a good sign for growth and depth of building a program?
Yeah, here we are. 2 of our top 3 playmakers were down, and now one of our very best offensive linemen is down for the year, which, okay, you know what? All people are going through these things. But here, E.J. Scott and Ty McCullough step up, and, Keith and Barry make some positional adjustments and step up, and Mike Schiavone is stepping up. And so that's what you're looking for in your team. Gary Williams is really playing quite a bit, so that it's not just Cam and Trey. We get Gary in there because earlier in the year, Trey was getting gassed. He was tired, and we're trying to create a deeper with Brian Palendia. We have a 4-man rotation now to be able to keep those guys a little bit more fresh. So we're expanding our depth on both sides of the ball. In the back end, you've already seen that happen on defense. You've seen that in the front on defense, and really at the linebacker level. So we're trying to continue to develop young players along with some of our older guys right now. I heard a comment last week, made that, they've got a bunch of older guys. Yeah, we do, but we've got a bunch of younger guys, and we'll transition quite smoothly into next season and without a lot of voids. So that'll be good. Yep.
workload went up Saturday.
Yep.
So what have you seen in his continued growth, because he's still fairly newish as a running back?
Yeah, I mean, Ajon, the guys on the team all know that I've pointed out on more than one occasion that Ajon practices maybe harder than most. I mean, his game practice reps are game reps, and that showed in the game. I mean, he played explosive and fast, and Jalen played real physical and tough. Really proud of the way those two guys stepped up and played. I mean, those are two young guys right there that are going to be really good players. So their development's been phenomenal.
Steve, speaking with Danny Gonzalez before the season, he mentioned that he wanted to bring a more physical brand of football to New Mexico. Mentioned he really liked what you guys were doing up north. When you watch them on film, do you see a team that plays with great physicality and just kind of, is that what stands out aside from the variety that they present on defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're becoming a physical team, and I think Danny's done a great job. And like us, we're just we're in our infancy of development right now. And I think obviously Bob Davie was the head coach there, and Bob had been there a long time and really developed a strong program there. And so Danny has the opportunity to come in here and put his stamp on the program, and he's a hell of a football coach, So he's building it, and you can see all those elements on the tape. I'm sure it's like us, people look at our tape, and I think you can see that we're growing and we're developing. It's on the tape, and just their program will keep getting better, just like our program will keep getting better. So yeah, I mean, I can see evidence of all that.
In the past, defensive coaches always talk about Air Force being just that special week preparing for their past coaching regimes considered going up against a Rocky Long defense, kind of the flip of the switch on offense. What is it about that defense that, in your perspective, is so unique that creates some chaos, I guess, for the offensive line, especially up front?
Yeah, well, it's a 3-3, 5 defense, or it's a 4-2-5 defense, and they give a multiplicity of different looks and just the most pressures I've ever seen by one team. Now I'm sure I don't know their details, but in that scheme, I'm sure they have to spend an awful lot of time on scheme, and probably I'm guessing is harder to get your fundamental work done because there's just so much of it, volume. For us, the key is to simplify it and rely on our fundamentals and our explosiveness, and try to, not get fooled, tricked, or stunned by all the movements and all the pressures. And how we are in a foot race right now to become comfortable on all their patterns. And I'm a line coach, so that's my background. So I understand what that means and how to go about doing the best you can. Now, when you play these teams, you're going to have some negative yardage plays. It's going to happen. But you're hoping that you'll also have some plays in there where you can pierce them and find those open gaps. I'm not saying anything out of school. They know that. That's their concern. But, they create a lot of negative yardage plays. So it's hard. It's schematically all over the place. And it's kind of in vogue right now. Teams are going to this type of thing, and like anything else, I think enough teams start running it, you see it a little bit more, you can kind of catch up with it a little bit. But Rocky Long, he's just one of the deans in coaching. What he's done has been phenomenal. What he did at San Diego State's phenomenal, and you can see what's happening there with this defense. I watched them against Texas A&M. They created so many negative yardage plays against Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a upper elite level team that can recruit the best players in the country, and I thought New Mexico really created a lot of tough uphill sledding for them in the run game. So yeah, it's a challenging defense for sure. And everybody picks their philosophy, and I'm a believer on defense, and you want to create penetration. Penetration stops the run game, so I get it. Yeah.
You made mention of Ty McCall. That was a big play for him specifically because you've seen him flip the switch. When you think of that, what exactly has he done better? You mentioned more focus. maybe more intensity in practice. What do you think kind of really kickstarted that and opened up his eyes?
I'm not sure. I mean, but over the last couple of weeks, Ty has noticeably picked up his practice intensity, his demeanor, everything. And he's been very vocal out there, and it's been fun to watch. And it's showing up on the field. So it's more validation of what your practice work has to look like if you want to have great results on the field. It's interesting. I listened to Coach Saban's press conference. What he was, talking about was, you got to look at your week. Look at your preparation. Look at the intensity of your reps, because you're trying to get, every week, you're trying to get as many game reps as you can. And when you don't get those, it's not going to mystically happen on Saturday. It won't happen. So you either have them or you don't. And if you don't, you need to get it fixed, or you'll get exactly what you deserve on Saturday. With Ty, he is giving us a lot of game reps right now. And so he's getting more play, and he's making more plays. And I just think that there's a great example of a guy on our team that has sort of bought in. And you're in a foot race to get as many guys bought in as you can. I think we have a pretty fair amount bought in right now. I don't know that we're 100% there, but we're certainly more there than not there. And that's part of team culture, and that's what it's all about. Now, the next thing is for a number of our guys is now the ability to sustain that through the duration of a long season if you haven't done it. They say it's like in coaching. If you never coached in the NFL, you have to get used to the duration and length of the NFL season, right? It's like that I think, within our program, our players have to, last year was, what was it? I mean, it was it was 8-game, 4-game out of 8-game sample. Now all of a sudden you're going to be in at least a 12-game run here. And you've got to learn how to sustain your mental focus, your physicality, your intensity, how to take care of your body, because it's a long year and you don't want to get worn down. Understand how important it is to live your life the right way and to get your rest, and all of these things. You say duh, but no, not duh. You got young guys, and if that's not been a part of what's been, then it takes a while to get them to understand and buy into what that is. And that's the leadership of your team and the direction of your coaches and all of these things, because it'll all show up on the field. You got to get it right. I know some people probably listen to that and they're like, yeah, I get that. Some people probably like, yeah, whatever, Otherwise, you just rise and fall off the level of your talent and whether playmakers have the ability to make plays on any given day or not. That's great. That's a part of it. But if you want a consistent program, you got to have a consistent culture. Good? All right, guys.